Yes, there we go. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Eddie. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everyone. My name is Ryan Burley. I'm the Director of Business Development for North America for GeoSolutions. And today we're going to present a project that we worked on based on GeoNode and creating geostories from GeoNode as part of the Census or FEMA opportunity project, which is an innovation program focused on utilizing federal open source data towards serving disadvantaged communities, or utilizing data such as the Justice 40, and aligned with Justice 40 initiatives, and federal open data such as flood model data and other data from FEMA and elsewhere. So today we're going to focus on the GeoNode project that we built as part of this effort, and it focuses on Alabama, and basically analyzing disadvantaged populations and categorical disadvantaged populations with flood data and building code adoption within Alabama. I want to emphasize the fact that this is just one sample of what could be done with GeoNode. Obviously, the area of interest is only one state. However, this could be rolled out as a tool for the entire country, and obviously this is just a one problem set. GeoNode can be used to integrate data sources from all over the place, and Geostories can be used to integrate multimedia content, video, documents, whatever the content you might want to share for a like a director's brief, or another integrated geospatial delivery platform. So with that, I will hand it over to Eddie. I'm very appreciative for everyone who's attending today. And obviously contact us anytime after the meeting or during with any questions you might have. And we're always happy to help out with GeoNode, GeoServer, and other open source applications.
Would you like to introduce a little bit the company, GeoSolutions?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Can you go to the next slide?
Yeah.
So for those of you not familiar with GeoSolutions, we are an open source focused development firm or company comprised of the core developers and core contributors for open source products such as GeoServer, GeoNode, and others. We're also part of the machinery in WMS, WFTS, et cetera, and focusing on interoperability and OGC interoperability standards. GeoServer and GeoNode are two of our top products, and we have customers all over the world, primarily concentrated in Europe and North America, but we do projects all over the globe for government, engineering firms, emergency management, earth observation, oceanographic, atmospheric, et cetera. Anyone focusing on massive amounts of spatial temporal data and updating that data in real time. You see here some of the industries that we serve. So today we're focusing on emergency response, as this is a FEMA focused project. As I mentioned, we're heavily involved in OGC, which is actually where I'm at now. I'm at an OGC meeting, so I apologize for any communication delays. But we're very involved in the test beds, innovation programs, projects within OGC that extend the capabilities of open source geo software towards solving specific problem sets. Distinctive traits. We are, at the root of GeoServer and GeoNode, and as I mentioned before, heavily involved in interoperability standards. So you see here kind of a roster of achievements and what our specialties are. Again, we are comprised of many of the core contributors and original core developers for GeoServer and GeoNode. Here's a roster of our all-star group here.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And yeah, okay, with that, I'll pass it off to Eddie Cateno, who you see as our international business development manager and also project manager, and was integral in developing this particular project for FEMA as part of the TOP program. So thanks, Eddie. Thanks everyone for being here. And Eddie, take it away.
Okay, could you see the Geostory?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. So, well, okay, thanks, Ryan, for the introduction. As Ryan was saying, welcome to this webinar, which is about how to leverage the GeoNode, GeoNode 4.0 specifically, to show results of spatial analysis, mainly through immersive and eye-catching geostories and dashboards. So what I'm going to show you now is a demo on a real use case, on a project that Ryan was talking about, was introducing, which and I'm going to describe how to build the Geostory that we did for this project with related dashboards, well, starting from the scratch. So for you to have a glimpse of how to use this very powerful, I would say, functionality of GeoNode, Geostories and dashboard. So here, what you can see is the final result of what we've done. As you can see, the Geostory is divided in different chapters here. You can see here on the left upper corner, and you can scroll down. You can see all these chapters, and which are called, by the way, sections, which are composed by different kind of contents, such as text or videos, pictures, images, combined with geospatial options, such as maps, spatial data, legends, and so on. And also with the dashboards, as you can see here, dashboard with different kind of widgets like counters, trend chart or bar chart, pie charts, so on. So two things about the project we've been involved. As Ryan was mentioning, we've been invited to the Census Federal Emergency Management Agency, aka FEMA, and the Opportunity Project (TOP) teams join the 2022 sprint. Well, to address some of the problem statement, specifically about building community and, well, also about climate resilience. We basically, we have analyzed two cases, starting from some guidelines we received from FEMA. And these two cases were focused on the adoption of building codes in all the United States. So we so the analysis was based on the buildings data sets. And what is what's the meaning of the building code adoption? Well, basically FEMA tracks the adoption of some regulations and for building, for the construction of buildings. So that's all around the United Nations, for state or local or tribal and territorial governments, until jurisdictions all across the nation. So there's there are some database about it. for each jurisdiction, we know if the building code has been adopted. That are adopted are like for the older versions. So this is called this effort, this project is called the building code adoption tracking. So BCAT, aka BCAT, building code adoption tracking. So what we done specifically was to try to find some correlation between the adoption of these building codes and flood risks in one case. So we have considered the special flood hazard areas where buildings are located. So we try to find the correlation between the building code adoption and their location in one of the special flood areas, hazard areas. So basically, the special flood hazard areas are areas where the risk of flood is higher. And this was the first case. And the second case, we studied the building data, but against for the code adoptions, but against the equity parameters. So considering the location of buildings in all the different areas which are considered as disadvantage, with some levels of disadvantage. There's an institution called CEJST, so the Climate and Economic Justice Screening Tool, which provides information about different parameters, and there's a kind of definition of disadvantage level that we've used to compare with the adoption of the building code. So these are like a little summary, a brief summary of what we've done. So let's start with the generation of these geostories. So okay, let me start just from the beginning. Okay, first of all, to create a new geostories, we need to be administrators. So as you can see here, let's start from the beginning. So I log out. So before of everything, you need to sign in to the GeoNode 4.0 instance that you are going to use. So first of all, the geostories that we have, that we have created was created using a lot of different contents that you have to be prepared in advance. So like layers, maps, and of course then upon that you could create your dashboards, and finally using various types of contents like multimedia, or as we've seen, multimedia or pictures, you can combine everything to have the geostories. So to create the geostories, we need these kind of bricks. And the spatial data and maps could be seen on a specific page of GeoNode. So I take for granted that you know how to upload data, upload spatial data layers, how to do the stylings of these data, how to create maps as a collection of layers, because I'd like to focus on the generation and construction of dashboards and geostories. So just for you to know here, just to show you here, we have all the data sets we have used for the geostory, the maps, and from here you can see there's the geostory that I just showed you. So now we are going to create a new one, starting from the scratch. So as you know, as you have seen, I'm right now I'm an administrator. So I can create a new geostory. How can I create a new one? From here, on the upper right corner, clicking on Add Resource, I can create my new geostory. See, this is an empty canvas where I can put all the different sections, contents, and widgets that I need for my geostory. So let's start with the main bricks. The main bricks of the geostories are the sections. The sections you can see here on the lower center of the screen. You can see there are different kind of sections. We're going to use some of them, not all. The title section, the paragraph section, and the immersive section. These are the main ones I'm going to show you. Then we also have banner section, geocarousel, media, and web also page section, which is for adding dashboards. I'm going to show you all of the main ones. So we can start adding a title for our geostory. So from here, let me copy the title from our original geostory. You can see that automatically it's a tool for the fonts and for the setup of the text. It's displayed on the screen. So, for example, you can align the text on the center. You can apply like the bold font, and let's say I want to change the font Times New Roman. Let's change also the color, and that could be basically it. I want to also show you how to change the background. You have to click here on the right corner, on the left upper corner, change media source. That's the background that is going to provide us the background for our title. We got the 3 different kind of media that we can add: images, videos, or maps. Let's say that for a title, it's better to add like an image. You can add a picture, you can add logo. In this case, I'm going to add like a blue background that we have already prepared. So you could I'm going to show you later how to add new pictures, videos, or multimedia. So right now we got some of them already available. Once you have selected your media source, you can click on apply. So you can see here, and you can also click here on the tool to make the background cover the whole container space. So, okay, so this is like for adding a new title, and that's basically it. Quite easy. So now let me just give a name to my section that I just added, like title, and that's it. So we have added like the title of our Geostory. Let's go on. We can add a new section, let's say a paragraph section. See here on the just after the title, the paragraph section is one of the easiest. It's composed, well, mainly by a title and some text that we can add. So let's say that here we want to give an introduction to our geostories in order to briefly explain what we are going to show. So here I'm going to copy the text that we've used to introduce our project. So here, as we've seen before, we can give some bold character. Okay. And well, let's say that's it. A few more than that. Okay. Introduction, and that's it. Okay. So let's say that to be sure that everything I've just done will be stored, it's better practice. One of the best practices to save my my work. So I just show you at the beginning how to do that. So title, let's say we name it like webinar Geostory. Geostory for the webinar, for the theme webinar. Okay, so we've saved our Geostory at the beginning. Okay, so let's go on. We can also click in here on this tool. We can have a preview of our Geostory. Okay, so let's go on. We can now add another paragraph for the BCAT, so the BCAT, to explain a little bit more in detail what the main topic of our project, so the building code adoption throughout to the nation. So we add another paragraph section like this very easily. Let's give it a name, BCAT. Okay. And then we can add a title. Okay. This is the title of our paragraph. Let's try to give to all the title the same layout, and then we can add a text under the title. Let's add a text content. So within the paragraph section, we can add we have like two different kind of sub-content, like the title and let's say another type of content that could be, as you can see here, a text, a media content, or a web page content. That means that we can add a dashboard. So title, and then a text, media content, or a dashboard. As many sub-contents as we like to add, just in the same section. So section, you can see the section as the chapters of our Geostory. So now let me copy and paste our text about the BCAT, so the building code adoption, as it is described by the theme. Or I can show you also how to add, let's say, an hyperlink very easily. So let me copy the link address. So you click on the text, you select it, and you click here on this tool, link title, let's say theme. It's okay. Select link target, external link, and then you paste the link, and then add. So here you have now an hyperlink very easily. And that's it. Okay. So this is another section for the introduction of like our topics. So now let me add a new section. This time a different kind of section. So so far we've seen title section. That's the easiest one, the simplest one. We have seen also the paragraph section composed by title and some other sub-contents like text, media, or dashboard. So now let me add a new kind of section, which is called immersive section. Okay, the immersive section gives you the possibility to add not only text content, but also some background for you to give some more attractive, I would say, or eye-catching background to your section of the Geostory. In this case, so as you can see here, you have the background media tool, and here the front content. So let me add as a background. In this case, I will add a map, specifically a map we have already previously prepared in GeoNode. So I can add some maps that I have on GeoNode. And in this case, specifically, I'm going to add the combined, let's say the nationwide building code adoption tracking for all the jurisdictions in the US. So for each jurisdiction, we know if we can see directly from the map if in that jurisdiction the building codes are adopted, are not adopted, or if there are no data about that, or if the building code that was adopted was like old, because we got different version of building codes. So if it's like, I would say earlier, older than 2008, it's considered like old. So And this is a map we have prepared before. So you can see here as a background, we got this map that we have prepared in GeoNode using some layers that we have received by FEMA, some others that we have downloaded because they were open data. So we have the geostory is like something that comes after you have prepared all the data, your spatial data within a GeoNode. So the background map has been added, and we can also add like some information for the, let's say, front contents. In this case, I'm going to add some information, some descriptions about what we are displaying in the map. So here, okay, let me show you that it's possible also to change the background. Right. Clicking here on change fill theme. Well, let me take exactly the color palette that we've used in the original one. Right. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. And also let me change, of course, the color of the text. Okay. Well, it's not changing. Okay, here we are. Okay. So we can also add like not only a description, but we can also add, for example, a picture about the legend. So to give to our users more information about what we are showing. We can also change the dimension of our picture. So in this way, you see, you can give very easily some contents with some, in this case, a map on the background and some information with the related images and pictures on the front. Very easily we can see that this is a map for the building code adoption, and specifically is the combined as well, because well, building code adoption is about not only a flood risk but a lot of different kind of other environmental risk. So this is the official maps based on this is the map for building code adoption based on the official data. So now we have let's say introduce what we're talking about, and well, it's time for going a little bit deeper into what we'd like to show. So, for example, right now we can add a new content specifically about one area of the one area of the whole US, because, well, to be frank, we started trying to analyze data for the building code adoption and for the flood risk and equity parameters for all the nation, but it was not possible. The data was too big, so we decided to focus, as Ryan has already said, to a specific area, nation, and state in this case. So Alabama state, and not only Alabama state, but we decided to analyze a specific county, which is called Elmore County, because we've seen that it was good enough for us to try to understand if there are, which kind of spatial correlation we have between building code adoption and flood risk, because this Elmore County, the area where Elmore County is located, is like prone to flood risk. So, let's say that we add a new kind of section. Okay. And we add this this paragraph section. Okay. Let's give it a name. Let's say we call it, okay, correlation between SFHA and BCAT, specifically for Elmore County. So we insert a title. Okay, say this way. Okay, and I'd like to add like some information about what the spatial flow hazard areas are, because it's important our user can understand what we're talking about. So let me add a text contents with information about the different kind of spatial flood areas. Basically, let's say that the spatial flood hazard areas, as I said before, are defined as the areas with a high risk of flood, specifically the areas where the event of being flooded is like 100% of possibility for any year. So that means that 100% of possibility to being flooded in 1 year, meaning that there will be in 100 years there will be at least 1 year that this area could be inundated. And there are like different, depending on the risk of the area, there are like different classification, as you can see. Basically, we can say that zone with A are zone which with high risk of being flooded, inundated, or zone X with X type are zone which are not at high risk. So zone A, EAH are areas subjected to inundation for 1% annual chance of flood event, and zone X are area with a minimum risk. So let me add, once we have added some information about the SFH area, let me add some what happened in the past to give an example of the multimedia enrichment that we can have with the Geostory. So as I do it again, I click here on the sub-content. Instead of selecting the text, I add media contents, video. So from here, I can add, as you can see, a new video. Of course, in this case, is a video from, it could be a video that you have on your local machine. In this case, well, we have found a video that could be representative for what we're going to show. So we had the URL video, we had like some title information about the video, credits. In this case was the broadcasting station, television station called WFSA. And then I click on apply, I save, okay, and then I click on apply. As you can see, it's very easy to add any kind of multimedia contents. Of course, you can decide a lot of parameters for the video. You can mute the video at the beginning. You can enable autoplay. You can enable loop. Okay. Details in this case. So now let me show you how to add a dashboard. So after we have introduced our topic and we have given to our users some multimedia information and some spatial data information, special data for describing more richly our project. We're going to add also dashboard. So dashboard, of course, the dashboard should be previously prepared. So because I think is useful for you to know how to create dashboard, I'm going to show you how to create a dashboard from the scratch. So and dashboard could be added to our section as web page. So let me add a new content, like a paragraph content here. Sorry, not a content, but a section. Let me give it a name. So I'm going to add dashboard. Specifically in this case for displaying the results of our analysis for the correlation between the adoption of building code in Elmore County and the location of these buildings, if in high risk flood areas or not, to see if there is some correlation between these two parameters. The dashboard in this composed by maps, a legend, counter, and pie chart. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, So let's say that we enter text like, let's say, very easily, dashboards for restaurants. Okay. And then I'll add, as you can see here, the dashboard as a web page content. So you see here, I need to add the URL address of my dashboard. So now I'm going to show you how to create a new dashboard, and then you see will be, once the dashboard will be created and stored in GeoNode, we only have to copy and paste the URL address of the dashboard in GeoNode here in the Geostory. Okay, so okay, okay. Okay, so let me do this. So I go back to the main page of GeoNode, and then I add a resource and I create a dashboard. So here we have an empty canvas for creating the dashboard. And let's say that we want to add our widgets. As you can see, we got different kind of widgets. Charts, text, table, counter, map. We want to add a new map because we want to show what the territory, the area where we have applied our our analysis. So in this case, I'm going to add the map, which is called Elmore County map. This one, easily. So this is a map that was previously prepared in GeoNode. So well, you can do some editing here in the widget of the dashboard, but I suggest you to do that in advance using the tools provided by GeoNode. So once you've done that, you can only add it as a content. So it's better to do that in advance. So let's say that in this case, I'm not going to use some of these layers that were originally included in the map, because I want to focus my attention only on the building code adoption and on the spatial field areas. So for this reason, I use only these two layers. In case I can set up the transparency of the layer. Let's say that in this case it's okay. Okay, let me give it a title. So well, it's the Alabama map. Okay. County buildings, FHA, and save. So you can see we have like a new map as a widget containing the building code and the flood areas. Let's say that I want to add also a legend. You see, automatically the legend, because I have only one map, so the legend is automatically connected to that map. I can add it as a widget. Legend, say And here you can define the dimension, the position very easily, just drag and drop, no more than that. So, so we have the different kind of special flood areas, zone A and zone X, and the buildings according to their building code adoption. Let's say that I want to add another map, just to give another reference. In this case, I want to show only the buildings. Okay. So, more county buildings. Save. And I can define the dimension and the position on this map. Okay. Let's save. To be sure. Title, webinar, dashboard. Okay. So we have our dashboard. So you can see here on the URL address, this will be, we will use in the Geostory to add the dashboard as a content at the end. So, but let me add some other widgets just to give you some more information about how to we can customize the dashboard. Okay, let's add a new let's add a counter, for example. Okay. Okay, we use so the counter is useful when you want, of course, to count some the number of some features that you have that you are showing on your map, and you want to display that number to your users. So in this case, the main layer we want to use is the is this one, the buildings on Elmore County, because we want to show how many buildings in Elmore County are outside the special flood area. So how many buildings are not in the areas with high risk of flood, and of course we want also to give the counter for how many buildings in Elmore County are within the areas with high risk of flood. So, okay, counter, we select which is the layer that we know has the information on which we want to count the feature. So I know that in this case, so the use is the field on which we want to count the features. In this case is the flood zone, of course. So let's say that. And the operation is count. Okay, so in this case, we know that is in the preview, we can see that 41,434 are the the number of all the buildings, and we want to know how many buildings are outside or within the areas with high risk of flood. To do that, we need to filter. clicking here on this tool. So let's say that we want to filter for the type of a FLD zone. We add the condition. So in this case, the FLD zone for the area for the areas outside the high risk of flood is X is equal to X. So we click here. I know it's search, but this is something that is going to change. It's search, but it's also like save. So you see, now we got the number of buildings for Elmore County which are outside of the high risk flood areas. So we can add it to the dashboard with a name. In this case, okay. So we go on title building code adoption outside SFHA. Okay, no, sorry, it's not. Okay, let's. Oh, I was wrong. That's not the correct name. I can use my error to show you how to edit in case you have done some errors. So you click on the upper right tool with the 3 points, and you can change whatever you like to change. In this case, it's only the name. So it's the building outside the special flood areas, building with no risk. Okay, so this is the first counter. We can do the same for all the other buildings which are within the high risk flood area. So buildings on Elmore County, click same. So FLD zone. In this case, we had 3 different conditions because the areas with high risk flood are free. All of them. The name of all of them, they start with an A, so it's basically A, AE, and AH. Click here. Okay, so these are the building within SFH. So okay, so in this way, we know how many buildings in Elmore County are with it or without high risk flood areas. We can also add a pie chart as a widget to show some other information. So how to use this other kind of widget. So as before, we need to select the layer on which we are going to apply the widget. It's always about the buildings on Elmore County. You see, we got the 3 different type of charts: bar, pie, and line. In this case, we have used pie chart. So here in the preview, you can see what happened. Let's set up our parameters. So we want to group by the FLD zone, of course. And we want to use all of our buildings. So we as a use, we don't filter, we don't summarize by a specific field. We use like the ID field because we want every single buildings. And the operation is, of course, is count. Okay, so as you can see now, in our pie chart, we can see the percentage of buildings for all the flood areas. So we can also, of course, we can change, maybe it's better. So we can change the ramp, color ramp, so we can see that 96.2% of our buildings are outside of the high risk flood areas, and the remaining are within, subdivided in A, AH, and A. I would like to show you how to filter within the pie chart to show you only information about a specific about the specific attribute. In this case, I want to filter by flood zone, within or without the high risk, and to give information about how many buildings in percentage are with or without building code for SFH area equal to X or FHA area equal to A, let's say. How can I do that? So I apply I apply a filter. But in this case, it's the filter should be applied using not the attribute filter, because it's on the pie. So I have to use the custom ramp. Using the custom ramp, I can subdivide the general results that I have within the pie chart. So and how can I do that? As I said, I click on custom for the color ramp and then use edit. Here in the classification attribute, I have a specific field which can tell me if within this pie chart the building code were adopted or not. So for example, I know that if these values are so 0x are meaning that we are without building code, are without or with old building code adoption. And same thing for this information. So if I have no data about that. So as you can see now, for all the special flood areas, for all the buildings within the special flood areas equal to Z, I subdivided into with according to the fact that the building code was adopted or not. So if I want to filter, let's say, and to see only information about the special flood areas equal to Z, I can do as I've did before. So I want to see only flood zone equal to X. And you can see here that in this case, I obtain as a result the percentage of the buildings in the flood zone with no risk for the adoption of the building codes or not. So in this case, I've realized I've a way of showing the result of my spatial correlation. Okay, so this is the building code adoption outside. Okay. Okay, and I can do the same for building code adoption within the special flood areas. So same thing, chart. I add layer. Okay. In this case, I started with filtering for flood zone. Okay. Yeah. What? Okay, sorry. Okay. Flood zone. Object ID. Count. Okay. And I filter. For flood code. Flood code. Well, what is it? Mm-hmm. Let me do it. I don't know, something is happening. Okay. Building code, pie chart. Okay. Okay. Flood zone, object ID, count. Then I filter. I want to show only the buildings which are in flood zone areas. Well, okay. Okay. And okay. Okay. All right. And now, as I did before, as you can see now, I have the percentage of all the different kind of areas within. And I want to display the spatial correlation with. To do that, as I've shown you before, I click on custom ramp, and then I use a field which I know is the field I can use for the differentiation. So that means that I want to show only okay. Okay. So these are without building cat. Okay. 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 And now I can do the same with the buildings with no big cat data. Okay. And that's it. Okay. So in this case, I'm talking about building code adoption within SFHA. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's say that we're finished with our dashboard. And I can copy this number and I can paste it here in our Geostory. Okay, the number is 71, and I have to use this specific URL address. So 71. Save. Okay, so here we have our dashboard. Of course, we could set up the position and dimension and so on, but this is how it basically works. So we can save now our dashboard, our geostory, and well, that's basically it. I mean, I think I've shown you everything would be useful for you to create a new geostory. Also, well, using most of the widgets, most of the content, and different sections that the application could provide. So now, if we go to the geostory list, we can see that we have the webinar geostories that we have just created with all the information we have added. Okay, and that's it. Any questions? Hello? Could you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, hi Eddie. Thanks for that great presentation. Just a very simple thing. Can we load our own fonts?
Sorry?
Can we load our own fonts in order to further customize the?
Oh yeah, sure. You can load every kind of files you want you'd like to add. It's no.
Not files, not files. Fonts. What is the?
The fonts like Times New Roman.
Right.
Sorry about that. Well, I'm not sure about that. I don't think so. I have to ask to the technical, to my technical colleagues. But well, there are some files that were adopted, but I don't think that are here. You see, there are only a few of them. Not sure about if it's possible from the, let's say, user interface to add the font. I think you need to change some parameters on the, let's say, code side.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, okay. I'm going to give you some answers to your questions. The recording will be shared on different channels. YouTube, on our channel in YouTube, and also from we'll publish a link on our blog, on our website. So don't worry, you'll have the option to download or to stream this webinar. Okay. Is it possible to add YouTube videos to Geostories? Yes, of course. You just need to have the correct URL address, not more than that. So I don't think the video I showed you was from the YouTube, but I mean, as far as you have the URL address, you can add it. Don't worry. Templates that we can use. Well, no. If you mean that some some templates for the geostories or for the dashboards, no. I mean, right now you need to start from the scratch, I would say. Well, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe for the future we will prepare some templates and we will share them. So but right now we don't have any of them. Is there a way to create a web app with a viewing pane? Web app? No, sorry about that. It's not possible. We're working on that. Right now, it's not possible. Just buildings with PCAD within SFHA is something that I've shown here. See, so building code adoption outside SFHA, building code adoption within SFHA. So I have to say that we have worked a lot on that because we use different kind of data and data sources, and we evaluate. We did a lot of analysis to try to make them useful and usable for the Geostory. So the data you are seeing now are not let's say something that you can download and use out of the box. We did I would say few operations, spatial operation and alphanumerical operation to use them. But well, I have to say that you can see them here. So for the Elmore County, the building code adoption outside the SFHA was like that. 27% with no data and 73% without a building code adoption or with all building code adoption. There are in Elmore County there are no buildings with which have adopted the building code. In Elmore County, we haven't found one. So that's something that we didn't know at the beginning. So that's one of the information, one of the results that we have found out. And what else? So with BCAT within so the question was percentage of buildings with BCAT within SFHA is 0. There are only buildings without the building CAT or with no data. When sharing Geostory that use protected resource, that's something tricky. That depends on if you have the the resources you're using can be seen from GeoNode. So if they can be seen from GeoNode, so then you can use it in Geostory. Otherwise, it's not possible. Thank you for your work. It's really okay. Thanks for your attention. I don't know if you have any other questions. Otherwise, we can close this webinar. As I said, you could have a lot of, you could have some other information about what we've done, what in the past, and what we have shared through our YouTube channel. Okay, sorry, 2 other. Okay. So Arturo Moreno, I think you can.
Yeah, sorry, this one just occurred to me. I was kind of playing around with the the inserted maps. And is there any way to put a widget in there because you can pan, but can you zoom? Is there a way to add something like that in?
No, sorry about that. I've asked. It's not possible right now. It's possible to pan, but well, at the moment, it's not possible to zoom. It's something that we're going to add in the future. Sorry about that. I've asked for that also as a user, because I'm not a developer. Yeah. I've used that, so it's something that is missed. But they told me that it would be done in the future.
Yeah, I assume it's just a matter of time before that functionality gets added in there, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Correct. So, Christopher, it's your turn. If you want to talk, to ask something, because I've seen you raise your hand. Hello, Christopher. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Hello. Do you have any questions?
Hi. No. I just I've asked them through the Q&R section, as you've answered them already.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. That was great.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for attending. Let me check if there are some other questions. Okay, no other questions. So, okay, it was great. Thank you very much for attending. And if you have any other questions, just send us an email. We'll try to respond as soon as possible. So have a nice day, evening, afternoon. Okay, see you. Bye.